Damn it, I've got something to say. But first, gotta put on these glasses so that I can read a passage from this book. Missives from the East arrived in my mailbox. An envelope with a dried brown leaf inside. A letter with dripped wax on the pages. A picture of a deer's skull amidst brush. It was Leroy. I wrote him in return, sent him songs I'd become obsessed with. He cast spells that hit me mid-stride to the subway. Breathe, he whispered. I believed. I inhaled. It is not over, he sang. The clouds burned off the streets by noon. While my compatriots in the office stressed over the endlessness of emails, I was distracted by hunger. Lust energized my bones. What was Janet doing? I did not know. I wanted to know now. Before Thanksgiving, I told Lex I am going to Asheville for New Year's. It felt like a tradition I could handle. She said she was glad of it. Would do you good, she said. I can tell you're going crazy. I was. Leroy is wrapped in a coat with a blanket on his knees, smoking on the porch when I pull up. The drive is so steep that I am nervous the emergency brake in my rental won't hold, but he assures me they haven't had an accident yet. Come in, he says, and I hug him, and I remember it is his face I return to, not the land. The fireplace is roaring, but they have no central heat. I put my suitcase next to the couch where I'll be sleeping. His sister's white pit bull, Peony, jumps and jumps at me for attention. He is dog-sitting. Shh, I say, and she sits. I have always known you were a witch, he says. I flop onto the couch and Peony flops down beside me. Are you still in love? I ask. You waste no time, he says. He is making tea for us, and I pull a green and orange crocheted blanket off the back of the couch and tuck myself in for this first leg of the evening. He looks so much older than the last time I saw him, and I realize it is because of the new scruff shadow of beard that frames his eyes and elongates his chin. Love, he says. Am I in love? In love. Surrounded. Yes, it is ongoing. I am loving and loved. Will I get to meet him, I ask. Tomorrow, he says. He's at his mother's tonight. She needed help patching her roof before the next rain. He comes from less than we had, he says, and he doesn't need to say more. We tell each other the story of our interiors and leave the details of our lives for later. The news has been a preoccupation, but we skirt from facts to fantasies. I have always wanted to go to Siberia, he says, and we imagine snow and lives with different worries and concerns. People always say communism doesn't work, he says, but what about capitalism, he asks. Is this working? I'm sure both systems work for some and not for others, I say. It's who it works for that matters, he says. No one ever says that. He is not wrong. I love him, his adamancy, his truth, and anonymity among the eagerly performative. He does not have a Facebook or Twitter. He reads. He talks to the man he loves, and when I visit, he talks to me. The next day I do meet this love of his, and he is tall and robust, and his accent is hillbilly honey. Jeremiah, he says, but you can call me Jeremy. V, I say, although you can call me Virginia if you prefer. We have a lot of names between us, he says, and I say I suppose more than some, and he gets into it about yesterday and how they got the tar paper down, but it's going to be a couple more days before the shingling is done. Those asphalt shingles can be a real pain in the ass to pattern, he says, and then he looks at Leroy and asks what he's got planned for me. Thinking we'd go looking for some bent trees, he says, and Jeremy suggests a trail 30 minutes north. Cherokee bent them as guideposts, Jeremy says to me, and it is as though the Cherokee are all dead, even though we know they are not. Have you ever been out to Oklahoma, I ask, and he says he's never been west of Memphis, and I say the desert out there couldn't be more different than the mountains. Even the sky is different, I say, and he says, no doubt, and we don't go further into it. And that goes for the entire United States of A. Thank you. And consider getting yourself a copy of Still Alive by LJ Pemberton.